Hello there, guys, and welcome back to Reborn with Michael Watson. Today, I want to talk about how do you sense space, and also why is it so important to sense space and the energy of space? How do you sense that space and energy, basically? And you know me, if you're new to the channel, what I do here is I break down complex spiritual ideas and make them simple. If you're not new to the channel, you're going to love this video as well. So guys, I just want, before I do that, please do like, share and subscribe because it really helps the channel to grow and to be seen. So if you could give me a like or a comment down below if you enjoy the video, I really appreciate it. Also, please join my free Facebook group. It's called The Healing Circle. Link in the description. I answer all questions on there and we're really helping each other to heal, manifest and create. So make sure to join that up. Now guys, how do you sense space, and why are we asked to do this in Dr. Joe Dispenza's meditations? Well, look, let's break it down. Basically, what I have come to understand through intensive research and knowledge and listening to thousands of interviews of Dr. Joe talking about this subject, I want you to know that the reason that we're sensing space, firstly, let's understand why we're sensing it. What happens is when you are living in this reality, what happens is we become reactive to the reality and we start to create a stress response to things that aren't actually physical threats. So you may be creating a stress response to the fact that your mother said something horrible to you 10 years ago and you've never forgiven her. You may have a stress response to the work that you're doing. You know, you can name something, but you may be holding on to a prolonged stress response. Now, when you're in the stress response, your focus narrows. So what we mean by a narrow focus is that all that energy that's pumped out through the adrenaline makes you focus on singular things. It makes you try to find the problem. Where does that come from? So if I was out living in the wild and a predator was trying to attack me, it's really good to have a very narrow focus at that point because boom, I heard a noise. Boom, I see the lion. And I need to focus on that lion because now I've got a decision to make, run or fight, you know? But then what happens as human beings, because we are living in a non-threatening environment in the sense of having to run away from anything, we just are living in a threatening environment of what we've created in our mind, you know? So because we're so visual in our mind, our brain can't tell whether it's real or fake. So that perceived problem that we've held on to for the last 10 years has kept us in the stress response. Okay? It's kept us in this stress response for years. What happens then? You start to create illness in the body. So now, continuing on from that then. So then if we have a narrow focus when we're living in a stress response regularly, then by sensing space or opening the focus, what I mean is I'm going to teach you how to sense space in a moment, but what you're actually doing is just noticing you're just spreading your focus. You're focusing in a broader direction rather than a linear direction. Okay. And what that means then is that it actually tricks your brain into going into the lower brain waves of peace, calmness, and all the different ways that we're able to connect to the subconscious mind. So when you're sensing space, firstly, just start by nose opening like your both eyes are facing in opposite directions. Now, he also says to sense energy. From looking at the thousands of interviews as well, he actually is saying, you know, when you walk into a room and you can notice that someone's had an argument, or you look down an alleyway and you sense there's something down there, he's also asking you to connect that deeper sense in you as well. So don't overthink that bit though. That's where we can get overcomplicated on this, you know. But actually what we're trying to do is really just trying to understand, and we're trying to open our focus in a literal way as well. Okay. So by imagining that my focus is looking in both directions at the same time, I immediately, through some deep breathing also, will start to naturally calm down in my body, naturally start to lower my brain waves. And by sensing that nothing, so energy, you can't, you know, there's not a literal sense or feeling of the energy. It's literally nothing. By sensing that nothing, you are then in turn focusing on nothing. Do you see what I mean? So because you're focusing on nothing, your brain is allowed to literally go to plateau, literally like calmness. So then your brain becomes coherent. You see what I'm saying? So that's where that open focus comes from, and the brain and heart coherence. And when your brain starts to fire coherently, your heart starts to beat in a coherent manner because of the breathing also, you are going to then get into a state of pure creativeness because your heart and mind are agreeing that you are in a place of peace. So that means that instead of using the energy to help you run away from your problems, it's going to use the energy now to heal, create, and manifest for you. Okay? So what that is sensing space. So let's think about this. So he go into the meditation, he says, now, can you notice the energy between your shoulders and the walls of the room? Now, all I would want you to do at this point is literally just to notice that distance either side of you. Now, when you try to notice the energy in particular, it may be that you're just noticing that there is space there. The energy of space is nothingness. Yeah? And by connecting to that open focus and that nothingness, you're bringing your brain waves down to alpha, beta, and more. Okay? So then, let me go into deeper detail now. Once we get there, like I said to you, your brain and heart will start to become coherent together as well. Then the brain creates its own electro field, and the heart starts to create a magnetic field. And what Dr. Joe is saying there, that means that you can focus very clearly on the things that you want in the brain. So you can start to focus on healing, health, abundance, joy, peace, harmony. And your heart magnifies that signal and actually draws it back to you. That's what he's saying. So by sensing space, opening the focus, you lower your brain waves, brings you to peace and harmony. Once you find that peace and harmony, you start to become coherent. Once you become coherent, you can start to hold a vision of your future, and your heart will literally magnify that signal that the brain is sending, and it will draw it back into you. That is the process. So if you have been struggling to sense space, and this has really helped you out, give me a massive thumbs up down below. Guys, I also have a little online course that I have available for those of you who have stuck around. It's called The Healing Factor. Check it out, linked in the description. It's my most simple way to heal. And it is literally a wonderful, you're going to get meditations, workbook, you're going to get WhatsApp support from me. So go check it out. Thank you so much, guys. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. And I just want you to know that you're all amazing. Sending love to each and every one of you who've followed me on this journey. Take care.